issue. Your KG to PG curriculum change, we would like to we are really keen and interested to know how the curriculum change is going to happen, and if we can take it back to the other states in the southern region, that will be really nice. And you're always welcome to knock on all our doors. We are here to support you at CII, and also truly appreciate your focus on sustainability. I see that you have very small papers for your speech, and it's also cut into small pieces. Thank you so much for that, because all of us have to be environmentally conscious to take our world forward for the next generation of youth. So having said that, I'd like to first go with Mr. Thomas John Muthoot, who would like to ask you a few things.
One concern area, Andhra predominantly was into agriculture, and there's a lot of the drive of economy was agri-based industries and agri. Now with the shift focus on other areas, how are you ensuring that agri still becomes the driver for economy? Because agri is also as important as all what you have just mentioned, and people shifting out of agri, will the agri get affected at some point of time? Again, the grassroots gets affected. Honorable CM, when he spoke to the National Council, he said that he lost 2 elections because of his thrust on growth, and at some point of time not taking feedbacks of the bottom. So how are you going to address this time?
A very valid question. If you look at it in the 5 years between 14 and 19, agri was a great thrust area, and agri-allied grew at the fastest pace, predominantly driven even by aqua. Saying that, I actually did a Padyatra before the election, and I spent considerable time in Rayalaseema region. And as all of you know, Rayalaseema is known for mangoes. We are only second to UP. One of the stand that I've taken is we are growing our local variants, which is great. It adds a lot of value, but we should also grow variants that the world requires. So it could be the Japanese varietals, what Europe wants. So we have a clear mission in place. We have picked specific commodities that we want to specialize in, agri commodities that as a state we want to specialize in. This is part of the Viksit Andhra Pradesh vision. We're going to back it with research centers. So like a great example of that is mango, dragon fruit, chiku, a banana. Andhra is already very big. We can do a lot more. And with the industry support, of course. Saying that there are also like dates is a big opportunity for us in the Rayalaseema region. So we're looking at specific commodities, going deep, backed with research, giving clear inputs to the farmer and building that out.
Bringing some digital into agri also.
That's the next bit. So that's what brings me to the next bit, which is how do you make agriculture even sustainable? So Mr. Naidu has pioneered the zero budget natural farming. So there are 2 sides of the equation. One is you have to reduce the cost of inputs so that I can be competitive and sustainable. So that's something that we're also working. And then, of course, technology will play a role, not just from predicting market prices, but also understanding the possibility of any pest and how do I control. We've done this in the past under real-time governance. So we're bringing all that back, all the protocols back to that. With regards to feedback from the grassroots, I think we've always lost an election because of that, not because we didn't do work. And that's why our real-time governance is now being given to me. And in this government, in the real-time governance, one of the major things is also feedback. So we're going to take feedback from industry, feedback from citizens, feedback as a family, and look at things very holistically. So education, healthcare, and we have this model called the P4 model where, we want successful entrepreneurs to actually nurture families, nurture villages. And how do you pull people out of the cycle of poverty? Government is a very good spender of public money. But then we need accountability to come in at a greater pace. And that's where I look forward to working with the industry in bringing that and hand-holding. And that's something that we intend to do.
CM, when he addressed the National Council, spoke about the 4 Ps also, involving people. So I think that's
the 4P model.
We have been also propagating to our government saying involve people now.
Well, if you look at it this time, when we have the Chief Minister's travels, it's very open, very easy. His program is also very accessible, no barricades. So I think it's been a huge cultural shift compared to the last 5 years. But we are marching ahead in that, hopefully in the right direction.
All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. So next I'd like to request Mr. Anil Epur to.
I mean, having worked with the Honorable Chief Minister for many, many years, in the late 90s and early 2000s, I know you'll be very successful in what you're planning to do, and I'm glad to hear from what you have mentioned. But just a couple of just thoughts. One on, don't look at only India as for the models and all this. Please look at the world as to where are the successful models working there. I just mentioned to the Chief Secretary about the skilling thing there, how the German, Swiss, Austrian model of skilling is the right model for India. That is one. Second one, when you're talking about it in agriculture, and please look at the emerging trends. We're talking about mangoes and all this. This is the past. What are the new fruits? You talked about dragon fruit. That's the fruit. But there are a lot of things coming up like that. Yeah. So if somebody can go and see the supermarkets in the West, and you know what are the fruits coming there. And Ralsima is the ideal horticultural place. Exactly. The dry weather makes perfect sweet fruit. So that could be the great. Same thing with aquaculture. We are not adding value to aquaculture. We are only giving the raw material out of the ponds. There's a huge scope to add value, especially extra freeze drying, etc., which can increase the returns to the farmers dramatically. So if you can look at what's happening in the world, and I mean, we took the Honorable Chief Minister on delegations to the US, UK, Malaysia, Singapore, and all this. And everywhere he went there, the people there were stunned by the questions he used to ask about what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it. I'm sure he'll do that, but I think it's time for you people to start going abroad, especially to these leading countries, to understand what they're doing, why they have gone there, and where can Andhra benefit from those trips. I just commend it to you and wish you all the very best.
If I can just quickly answer that. If you look at it, mango is still mango. And the advantage is now you looked at Japanese varietals. So my question is, why can't we grow those? So I think I'm looking at it end to end. And I was very infatuated with the idea that we can actually grow for the world. And this is something that I've been talking about in my entire Padayatra, because I interacted with a lot of farmers. Dates might seem trivial, but the opportunity is amazing. So as you rightly said, it's not just about supplying for India, but can I become a global supplier, in the top 10, major commodities. But commodity as a commodity, like mango is a mango. But then can I do local processing? And I've looked at how Thailand has done that better. Creating chocolates in a very micro scale. The mango toffees of some, not chocolates, or toffees. It's very easy. So we are actually looking at that. And we would love to actually engage with the industry on this. Because you have a better view on things, and you're subject matter experts and domain experts. So I understand dairy very well, because I worked in the dairy business. I understand it very well. But I don't necessarily understand chili business well. So I actually look forward to interacting with the industry to actually drive policy, give guidance, and actually look at what are the best practices that are happening across the world and learn from it.
There used to be a gentleman who was the Dean of Horticulture at Tirupati called Dr. Ramarao. Then he went to work for Eenadu in that paper. He, as chief of at Tirupati, he was asked to send mango saplings to Israel and to Europe. So he said, why should we send our materials or send him the worst varieties we have here? So he sent the one that had no market in India, he sent to them. But they were so smart that they took their varieties and they convinced the consumers in Europe that that was the actual mango and not the ones coming out of India.
It's all about, okay.
Thank you.
Suresh?
Lokesh, thank you for being here. I know how Saturdays are very important for you with your son, but thank you for being here. So I had one thing, Lokesh, and I know I've worked with your father when I was a chair last time and all that, and we did a lot of activity, and everything. So I think I might be coming across as a little, I don't know, some people might be upset, but then I think certain things we have to look at we are coming from a certain legacy, certain way of working and all that, right? Because I know how much last time what CM wanted to done didn't happen, right? And I think we need to start focusing on that, the administration layer in between, and how their priorities and how their style of working is the one that is harming us, right? See, as businessmen, we will always be wanting, it is our nature, and you are one too, so it's our nature to push the envelope, right? And we'll be asking a lot of time, and I agree, it's not always possible. But I think CII can play a moderating role in that and support you in wherever that is. But I think right now, we have no option, and we are very glad that we can forget last 5 years, right? So I think we don't need to harp on that. But we don't expect, with you, we expect the other side, right? So maybe it's right, wrong, but that's what it is. So I think that is one of the points I wanted to make, Lokesh, is that I think we need to work on that the interaction becomes, it doesn't mean we need your time every day, but at least at some point at certain, and the other ministries also have to be brought on board to work on that, right? Now, one thing, yes, I was a little unhappy you didn't mention poultry, but okay, we'll deal with that later. It's a 1 lakh crore business in this country and for India, and like you were saying, our effort has always been about feeding India, right? We have not been unlike Aqua, where we are not exporting, right? But now there's a phenomenal opportunity because Malaysia's production cost is 9 rupees, Thailand's production cost is 9 rupees, our production cost is 475. In spite of our feed being almost 50% costlier, right? But now it's 21 paisa to send eggs from Vizag to Malaysia, right? Or Singapore. It's huge opportunities now. Even we didn't get present. We are only. So I think those things I think we need to work, and do. How do we do that? Because that itself in 3 years could be $1 billion opportunity for us, right? And many things like that. I think one thing we all don't recognize is Sitafal is a fantastic export opportunity. It was selling for 10 pounds in London. 10 pounds of fruit, right? I mean, do we need 10 pounds for it? I mean, 1 pound of fruit, you can imagine the potential of that, right? I think so. These are some points I wanted to make, Lokesh, and we need to work on that. It's not as simple as what I'm saying. I get that, but I think that is the other point that needs to be worked on, because without working on that, all our dreams will be left. I think that's also critical area that needs to be pushed now. To that speed of business will not happen. So, thank you.
Lokesh, before you respond, adding to what Suresh ji said, we have been asking and looking forward for the joint consultative meetings and forum, and that probably you should announce that today, because it's not happening, and somebody should be accountable for that, and you should get the report. Somebody should report to you, and unless this happens, we'll be talking, but ultimately, no, sometimes it's very, very difficult for us to reach out to you. We cannot trouble you every day because you are heading so many departments. So that vision of your department should percolate to the lowest point in the bureaucracy, and you should make comfortable. I think before we finish this meeting, please give an announcement that who is responsible, how frequently we do it. So sorry for pushing you to this, but
it's very valid
to
point, yeah.
make your vision a reality, industry and government should talk frequently. Take this input. If he gives a valued input from his thing, it will be a great opportunity for the government, for the industry, for the farmers, for the people. So I think probably in the consultative meetings, we can ask the other state people also to come and join if they are interested in that particular field. So thank you.
So we have, yes.
Quickly, just to respond, I think it's a very valid point. See, we've had challenges, no second thought. I mean, we just completed our first 100 days. So Economic Development Board reviving it because it moved to industries from GAD. So we're bringing it back to General Administration Department, because you understand today businesses cut across ministries. And then we don't expect businessmen to run to each minister or ministry to get things done. So single port of call will be the Economic Development Board. And the CEO just came in place 10 days back. So we're building the entire team under it. So there's not going to be a different promoting board for IT or electronics. I offered that I'll actually wind it up and we're going to do it with EDB. Like energy is a huge sector. But then And then data centers is another big sector, but when investors come and look at me, they say, I want to do the data center bit with renewable energy. So who do I talk to? So I can't expect them to talk to the IT minister and the energy minister. It's not going to work. Economic Development Board. So that layer is setting up. Give us 30 days, we're going to get done. As far as the joint consultative meeting, I would ask you for your dates. So you tell which dates, the entire team will be ready for you. So as simple as that. It could be the ministers or the secretaries. Please announce a date. We will all be available for you. No second thoughts about it. So before the meeting ends, please give me the date and we will deliver on it. We will deliver on it.
Minister, actually it's a forum. It's called the Joint Consultative Forum. So this is a forum where it's like a very formal entity where the government and the secretaries of various departments. Now in this case, if it's the Economic Development Board, it's very easy. It's a one-stop shop for us. And the leadership at CII, they come for some frequent meetings, whatever is convenient for both sides. And this is actually working very well in Kerala. The Kerala chairman is here. He will actually be speaking later. State chairman. And it's been working for the past, I think, how many years?
It's more than 11 years, Minister. So what happens is it's a notified forum in a geo. So it is a formal meeting which is convened in Kerala at least. It's a formal meeting chaired by the Chief Secretary with 10 secretaries to 12 secretaries relevant to industry on one side and 10 to 15 industry members cutting across all sectors. So they meet on a frequent basis, which is preset, and discuss what industry wants to tell to the government wants to tell to the industry. It's in a very closed format, it's been discussed, and it has worked out really well.
It's a structured meeting with minutes and the follow-up and all.
Yes.
ATR report and all.
It started
and what's the frequency?
Once in 2 months.
Okay.
And it started in Kerala in 2008.
16 years.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And now recently in Puducherry also.
They have,
so we just signed
asked
the
CII
government has passed a GO.
to do this work.
Perfect. I'll initiate the green note.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'll send it to the respective ministers. I'll follow it up. And we'll deliver on this in 1 week.
Sure.
So next, Mr. Sai Prasad, please. State Chair of Telangana.
This is something that Honorable Chief Minister knows exactly what he used to do when he was the Chief Minister of the combined state.
Yes, sir.
And we had all the chief secretaries and the industries department and everybody else and people from the CII would be meeting at very, very regular intervals. And that was a very, very effective model. So it doesn't have to be strictly structured, but it should be a forum that where it can be meet regularly.
What we'll do is we can meet once in 2 months.
Yes.
But let's be in touch real time using WhatsApp.
Yes, that's
So I'm a hyperactive WhatsApp user. So
yeah.
WhatsApp, I've realized, is the best platform for us to exchange ideas and track. We'll do that. I think we'll do it structurally with,
Yes,
with
it's
the
better
permission.
to do it with the structure.
With the structure.
Minister. Then it
And we'll
works
do
and
this
it's
also.
Also sustainable that way.
Absolutely. We'll deliver on
Yeah,
this.
thank you. Sai.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, for taking time on a Saturday to be with us. I'm Sai Prasad from CII Telangana, Chairman, and also Executive Director of Bharat Biotech. I have two-part question. One is, for any state or state or country to grow, you need capital and resources, which is what I call as human capital and human resources. And if you look around our own country and maybe other parts of the world, either there are states and countries where entrepreneurship is strong, and there are states and countries where STEM education and education is very strong. Andhra Pradesh is extremely lucky. It's one of the only states, I think, in the Indian Union where both entrepreneurship is strong and also the educational push from our families is also very strong. This is a beautiful combination that doesn't exist, I think, personally in any other state of India. This levels of entrepreneurship and that has to be harnessed for local businesses and local industry. That is one concept that I would like to place in front of you. The second concept is, you mentioned about, the past 5 years, the next 5 years in the future. As we are all in industry, when we make investments, we make 20, 30-year investments, timelines. So elections happen in 5-year cycles. What is some of the assurances that you can give industry in general that if we do commit to those investments, there will be continuity in government practices and policies so that we can continue on with our businesses. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Sai. Very valid point, and coming back to what Suresh also said is that, historically EDB was focused on bringing new investments. But this time the structural change we're going to bring in is that they're also going to focus on already entrepreneurs who have invested in Andhra Pradesh, because I don't need to convince them to invest the next rupee. It's very easy. I'm going to do that, and that's going to be part of our structure, and we're building leadership in that specifically. And as you rightly said, being a combined state, Andhra, Telangana in the past, so all of us were beneficiaries of Hyderabad in that sense, and all of us have our investments in Hyderabad. That's a fact. I think post bifurcation we've struggled. We're building back that momentum. We've done it a bit, but then we've sort of limping beyond that. Saying that, I think, as you rightly said, Andhra Pradesh has both the strong human capital and at the same time a lot of entrepreneurial blood. And across sectors, they have a role to play. So we just need to harness it and create a very transparent platform for that. Two, again, as I go back, Bharat Biotech played a very important role in Genome Valley, the entire creation, the idea, the thought process. Once the idea was given to the Honorable Chief Minister, then he just took it off and then he took it to the next level. That's what I'm looking at all of you for. I'm not looking at just one investment by your company, but I'm saying, how can we create ecosystem? Unless there's an ecosystem, it's not going to be sustainable. And that brings me to answer the second question. If it's a strong ecosystem and it's of certain scale, then politics cannot do anything. And a great example of that is the IT ecosystem in Hyderabad. So the IT ecosystem stood the test of time and politics. Genome Valley stood the test of time and politics. So if you have scale and ecosystem, then things sort of snowball, and then as a political class, our role becomes smaller. So I think what we want to do is whatever we want to achieve in 5 years, we're going to do it in the first 3 years and deliver on it, so that we can create that impetus, so that there'll be no change. But of course, I look also pre-election, I did speak to a few members of CII, and that I said we need to talk about this at a national level also, because we need guidance from the central government on this particular subject, because governments might change, and it could be Andhra, it could be Telangana, it could be other states, but once a document is signed, agreed upon, I think if we keep reneging on it, the entire business plan goes for a toss. And that's unfortunately what happened in the previous 5 years. So I think it requires a dialogue at the national level, and that's something that I did speak to CII about. And as a state, we're willing to also lead that dialogue, saying once signed, once done, I think as a nation, we need to be committed to it. Because renewable energy, a great example of that is we've suffered with the erstwhile regime's decisions with renewable energy. PPAs were unilaterally cancelled. But then behind that was SoftBank investments, sovereign investors. So that created reputation loss, not for Andhra Pradesh, but as a nation we lost our reputation. So it's very important that we create a framework to ensure that there's safeguards or rails to doing that. So one, we're going to create an ecosystem, create impetus, scale. Then you'll have no role, and you won't need us. You'll be on your own. Like Genome Valley today doesn't require government. There's no government intervention. IT in Hyderabad, marginal intervention. It's at a hyper scale. So we want to create that. So we've done that, like Kia, and the ancillaries. They're so big that government really cannot fiddle. And if we get 10 more other automotive manufacturers there, I'm done. Anantapur is in the next level. And that's what I'm working towards. Electronics, the same thing. Renewable energy, the same thing. Last time we signed, because we had bifurcation pains, and we lost 2 years trying capital and all this. But now we don't have all that. So we're starting from day one. So the entire electronics, renewable energy, and all that agreements that we're signing, we want them to see the end of the tunnel in 3 years. And parallelly, I'll work with CII on the national policy, and I'll talk to the Honorable Minister of Commerce and see how we can etch this in stone as a nation. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Next we have Mr. Ponusamy, Minister. He's co-chair of the National MSME Council at CII, and also he's co-chairing on the ease of doing business. He also runs one of the largest chemical industries in India. Over to you, Ponusamy.
Good afternoon, Mr. Honorable Minister. I think just few points on MSME side. See, Andhra Pradesh supplies to Government of India PSUs this GEM portal. I think you are encouraging, your government is encouraging procurement from GEM portal. That's one of the state. I think recently I saw some orders are placed to them. See, very, very less. Even Andhra Pradesh contribution supplies less than 1%. Last year they procured 4 lakh crore. In another 2 years, it may be about 10 lakh crore. All depends, Indian Oil, ONGC, NTPC, all the government, and also central government, and also state government. Lot of state government can 100% buy from GEM portal. So it is expected to grow within next 10 years, 10 lakh crore. So if we can contribute about 5%, it will be 5 lakh crore for it. And that too, 49% are supplied by MSMEs. This I want your government to look into it. Maybe you can appoint your MSME department may not be having the wherewith to handle this. You have to reach out to even MSMEs who are in villages. Not only metros, I think all the places, taluk level, village level we should reach. CA can work there, but I think you need some outside people, or you are like EDB, you should have MSME department. Like that, if we can consider, it will be great. Economy also it will grow, and a lot of things will be benefited. This I think, and also credit guarantee scheme where Government of India gives 5 crore to each micro and small without any collateral security. So every day they are distributing 800 crores. Last year Andhra Pradesh got only 5,000 crores. It has potential. These things I think we can concentrate from our side of here.
Oh, perfect. No, just to also give clarity, we've had issues with regarding releasing of incentives to MSME. So as a state, we've taken that as a green channel because they need these incentives as of yesterday. While all of us, the larger companies, can wait for a month more, but they need it. And that's the kind of handholding we need to do. MSME is being led by a very young minister. Srinivas is younger than me. Yeah, so he's very young, very focused. And he's been tasked with it because MSME creates a maximum number of jobs. It's a fact. It's a global fact. And we're going to do that. The second bit, the credit guarantee scheme. The erstwhile, what happened is the government contribution, state government contribution got delayed, and that's what created the issue. So we, in the last cabinet, we cleared 100 crores for this, and we're going to support it. So the Honorable Chief Minister and the cabinet made a statement up to 5,000 crores immediately. Let's support. So I mean, you can understand if state gives 5,000, then the opportunity is going to be massive. So this is going to be a thrust area. And Srinivas is an amazing minister who can now handle this subject very well. And of course, CII, we look forward to working with you on this particular area. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Ms. Suchitra Ella. She needs no introduction, but I'm duty bound to introduce her. Managing Director, Bharat Biotech, and past chair, regional chair of CII Southern Region. Over to you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. It's a pleasure to meet you here. It's always been a pleasure to have interacted with the Honorable Chief Minister. Your father, of course, needs no introduction, has been a great leader and a role model for many young entrepreneurs. The concept of Genome Valley probably was not, even thought of, envisioned by any other state in the country at that point of time. When the Chief Minister that he was at Andhra Pradesh, he just was open to a thought, to a subject which was not heard of in this part of the world. And it was his vision and foresight, which immediately, we had Neeraj Kumarji earlier at the APIIC, and the first trench of 600 acres of land was given to Genome Valley, which today, I'm proud to say that 70% of India's vaccines come from Hyderabad and from Genome Valley. No doubt, the IT revolution and the biotech revolution of India has been led by the Honorable Chief Minister. We all in Hyderabad, not a day goes without recalling all those initiatives that we had been associated with as an industry, because the biotech policy was created. I remember the first few years when we relocated back, our chairman, Dr. Krishna Ella, was probably spending his entire afternoon post-lunch at the Secretariat drafting the AP biotech policy, life sciences and pharmaceutical policy. And I was wondering whether this gentleman is going to run his own business, or is he running the business for, by sharing his inputs and thoughts and preparing a great model and cluster which has now almost grown to about close to 300 companies operating out of the cluster. I wish Andhra Pradesh has now, has regained its position. We are fully confident. I also think of CII, the days when I was just telling my colleague here, Mr. Bonaswamy, about the partnership summits, Anil and all of us in the Ramesh Dakla, and so many of us in CII recall the days of the partnership summits that we have done for the state of Andhra Pradesh, almost year on year on year, when we have brought the investments to the entire state and of course Hyderabad in particular. I wish to come to your point that you made on mangoes. I would like to just let you know that we as a group, the Bharat Biotech group with our other sister concerns in Karnataka, have exported close to 1,000 metric tons of mangoes and other exotic fruits to the US. And this does not happen from India in the past. So we have a USDA authorized facility out in Karnataka. We'll be more than glad to initiate the agri-bio cluster. I think AP should not miss this time around the agri-bio clusters. I think the agricultural revolution is important, as John had just pointed out, in terms of produce, but the value addition and the export capabilities and the potential, and the farmer is getting $4 to $5 for a kilo of lemon belly, which is our delicacy, the equivalent of the Alfonso that all of us know about. So US, I think people were sending me messages, $40 or $25 of mangoes going from India. They were not at all complaining. They were just happily enjoying the mangoes and very proud that it came from India as well. The second point I have is women skilling, leadership, entrepreneurship. At CII, we also have the Indian Women Network, which was started in 2013 from the southern region. We would like to partner with the government in Andhra Pradesh. In particular, we work with all the state governments in the south, but in Andhra Pradesh in particular, again, we would like to see if Ivan can be of, bring in that element of women and the skilling women, building their skill sets, training them, employability, and of course entrepreneurship. I think entrepreneurship is the key. All of us know that. There's no two ways about it. I just would like to hear your thoughts on it. And as CII, we will always be there to participate in the growth and development of Andhra Pradesh. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
On a lighter note, knocking on doors, I meant first knocking on Bharat Biotech doors and pestering for them to invest in Andhra Pradesh, so, on a very lighter way. Saying that the agri-bio cluster, I think, is a great feedback. I take it. As I was sharing with sir, I saw raw potential in Rayalaseema. A lot of work was done by Mr. Naidu. If you look at Tadipatri, Singanamala belt, banana is big. And all that was because Mr. Naidu had an agreement as a state with Dole. And they got them, they created the entire ecosystem, and farmers were exceptionally happy. We can do that with Chiku, we can do that with custard apple. Amazing opportunities are now taking off. But I take your feedback very strong on the bio cluster, agri-bio cluster. And I look forward to having a follow-up meeting on this particular subject and actually taking it to the logical conclusion. I keep saying women empowerment actually starts at home. So Brahmani pretty much pays all my bills. She's off late, she's been complaining about it. So she pays, I spend money, and I was sharing with the other ladies in the room also about it. We've supported the women reservations bill at the national level, and we're committed to it. Saying that Andhra women are also highly entrepreneurial. Dwakra, the entire model was started by the Honorable Chief Minister way back in the mid-90s when no one even knew about it. And I've seen it manifest in different forms. I think we need to reignite that energy all over again and definitely link them much better to the Indian economy and then the global economy. And they're definitely islands of success, and I like to say that they're only islands and we've not been able to expand beyond that. And that's something that we would look forward to working with CII, because I think what they need is mentoring. And I keep saying entrepreneurs need not money. Money is a very small part. Actual mentoring. What are the mistakes that they shouldn't commit, and what are the roads that they don't need to travel on, because all of us have learned from our own mistakes. So that mentorship program, I think, is going to be very, very key, and I'll look forward to actually working with CII on that subject.
Okay. Thank you. Minister, we have Mr. Narasimhan, who heads the CSR's task force in the southern region. Also, he runs a very large logistic company in the south. Mr. Narasimhan.
Good afternoon, Minister. I run a container freight station in Visakhapatnam, and we operate out of the entire east coast of India. This is on the logistics and port infrastructure which the government is building. It's very nice to know that you have such a huge investment which you are making in the port sector. My request is to continue to focus on Visakhapatnam, because Vizag it's very well connected today in terms of port, and it's part of the wonderful ocean network, and most of the shipping lines are already calling on Vizag. I think we need to continue to focus on Vizag and then develop it as a logistics hub, as an international logistics hub. Especially we have the pharma park and other parks, the apparel park. Everything is operating out of that today. I think we need to focus a lot more and make investments on that. My second request is to develop another green port, highway project connecting Chennai and Visakhapatnam. I think that's a need of the hour. I'm sure maybe you should take it up with the central government, because today the roads are very congested. If we really move cargo from Visakhapatnam to Chennai or vice versa, it's not easy with so much of road congestion, and especially with the new Vizag Chennai corridor which is coming up. Yes. I think it's going to get more congested, and especially you're going to get more ports, and these ports, new ports, has to be connected on the same highway. Time we start looking at building another highway, new highway projects. Those are my two requests to you.
No, to be honest, politics apart, Vizag has been very kind to us. If you look at the kind of majorities that we've got, so people of Vizag put on us great responsibility. So we take that with a lot of stride. Vizag is going to play a very important role in Andhra Pradesh's growth story. So if Andhra will become a $3-4 trillion economy, I expect $1 trillion to be contributed by Visakhapatnam and greater Visakhapatnam region. And you will see investments happening in that direction. So Nakapalli already work is on. We're going to take that to a logical conclusion. But I'm not happy. I've been talking to titans of industry in the pharma sector on how do we create one of the world's largest pharma park in North Andhra. World's largest. So once you come here for the next 100 years, I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to look at any other state. I'm selfish in that sense. So I said, I want to create the world's largest. And we're seriously working with titans of industry to get that project up. Saying that, of course, MP Bharat won with one of the largest majorities in Andhra Pradesh there. And I've been telling him very clearly that we need a dedicated logistic, freight corridor. Dedicated freight corridor is what we need, and we need to drive that out. Even within Visakhapatnam and then coming out of Visakhapatnam, I've seen it. I walked in Visakhapatnam during my Padayatra almost close to about 20-25 kilometers, and end of the day, my collar would be all black. So it's the coal suit that actually comes, and people are suffering with it. I totally understand this, and I've experienced it firsthand. So I have greater appreciation for the challenges that they're facing. So we're really going to work on this seriously, and the freight corridor is one thing that we're going to do. And Government of India has, and money is no problem. I think land acquisition, and Andhra has done a very good model with the land pooling. I think we can do something very meaningful even in that area, and create a dedicated road network connecting all the ports. What we want to do with the ports, I think that's also very important. The state is developing 3 ports, but ports in isolation is not going to work. When we mean port-led growth or port-led economy, I have to create a sector-specific focus areas that will at least create 500,000 jobs in the lifetime of that project. Otherwise, it's going to be in isolation. So when I met the Investment and Infrastructure Secretary, Suresh sir, on this particular subject, I said, look at Texas. Entire Texas coast is peppered with small, medium, major ports, and they've done it so well. It's sort of sectoral focus, and we have to do that in Andhra Pradesh. Even 2 birds very focused, very clear, create jobs, specific ecosystem. And that's something that you will see in this term, in the fourth term of Mr. Naidu, driving that agenda. Yeah? Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. So we next have Mr. Rajesh Mittal, who is the Managing Director of Isuzu Motors India.
Sorry.
So I'm very proud to say that our plant was inaugurated by Honorable Chief Minister in 2016, and today we have become the largest exporter of commercial vehicle from India. So that is from Andhra Pradesh, and we employ maximum number of women employee in the entire CV industry. We have 20% women and all from Andhra Pradesh. So since you are responsible for skill building, so we are working with the diploma colleges in Andhra Pradesh to build skill centers, and we have already done 12, and we are committed to take it forward in a much bigger way. We were really delighted that Honorable Chief Minister came to Sri City on his own in the first 100 days, and he spoke on his own proactively about our concern, like incentives that were not paid in last 5 years, and he said we will take care. I give one more suggestion, like when he was Chief Minister last time, he was encouraging local produce to be bought by people of Andhra Pradesh. He gave us like road tax benefit to sell our cars. So my suggestion to you is that for all the local industry, if you can make some conducive policies which can encourage local produce to get sold more, I think that will really help. So that is one suggestion I wanted to give. Second, we invited the Honorable Chief Minister to visit Japan so that he can invite more industry. So I further extended invitation, and we will provide all possible support so that right now we have 28 factories of Japanese in Sri City. We can encourage many more suppliers of ours to come to Andhra Pradesh. So since you wanted to knock the door of industry, so we are proactively inviting Honorable Chief Minister and you to visit Japan and invite more industry. That is from my side.
I think Isuzu is the first company that came to Andhra Pradesh in the mobility sector, and we really appreciate that. The ITIs are actually open up for grabs in terms of sector-specific interventions. This is something ITIs and polytechnics are under me, where industries have adopted them. They've done amazing work. Employability has gone up substantially, and they're able to be placed immediately. So we'll separately have a conversation with all the industry. For lack of a better word, we would love for you to adopt the ITIs and say, okay, I'll take up responsibility in this particular sector, and this is the ITI. And we can sort of do the entire ecosystem bit as far as the state is concerned. I'll come back to you on the local manufacturers being supported by the state. We've done it in the past. We can do it all over again. We don't see any challenge on that sense. And the visit to Japan is something that I think we'll curate offline on this. And definitely I think it requires a visit by the Honorable Chief Minister himself. Get the ball rolling. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Minister or Chairwoman of IWIN. It's Indian Women Network. It's a wing of CII, and it's she's Miss Shirin Salis will just say a few words to you.
Honorable Minister, I'm truly inspired by your forward-looking thoughts and bias for action. That was commendable. So I represent the Indian Women Network, and Suchitra already spoke about some of these areas. We are very eager to work with you on 3 areas. One is special skilling program for women. Second is you talked about mentoring for entrepreneurs. There's something called VHub in Telangana, which is working really well. So a similar concept here in Andhra Pradesh. And third is policies related to women in the workplace. We are happy to work with you on a proposal on these fronts, if you permit us. Thank you.
As I said, we are open to business, so no second thoughts about it.
Yes.
And women in workplace, especially in the electronics sector, we had a Foxconn facility out of Sri City, and 80% were women working there, as far as coming from East Godavari district. So it went up to 15,000 women actually working. And electronics, I see great opportunity actually for women to be part of the journey. But other sectors also will open up, and definitely after the session, we'll take the conversation forward. Thank
Next we have Mr. Vinod Manjilas. He's the chairman of the Kerala State CII Minister and also heads a very large brand of food processing industry.
Good afternoon, Minister. Thank you for sharing your insights, and good to see the young vibe, and I'm sure the country is safe in young politicians like you. You did mention about speed, and as mentioned before, the GCCF, Government CII Consultative Forum, is one forum where all the secretary heads come, and it's a very powerful forum. We speed up all the policies, because most of the policies get stuck because of the communication gap between them. So it's good that you're taking that up. Now, I also come from a food sector. We have great regard for the farmers of Andhra Pradesh. 90% of our chili comes from Guntur, and chili is the integral part of our cuisine, like in Andhra. And if the farmers in Andhra decide not to send chilies, we'll have to stop eating. That's what we are so much dependent upon in Andhra. And your thoughts there on sustainability is very, very important, because world over they're looking at foods with low pesticide residue. So that's a good move. I would also like to bring attention to another sector in Andhra, where we in Kerala collaborate with, is the rice milling industry. We collaborate with the rice mills in Andhra and do export. As you know, India is the largest exporter of rice with 15.5 million metric tons. But unfortunately, because of the various rules prevalent today, due to the ban, due to the duty, it is losing steam in the international market. And you being a very, very powerful partner in the NDA, a small push would, and relook at this policy would help the industry. Thank you.
As a partner in India, our interest is first about our nation, and then of course the state. No second thoughts about it. So we would love to collaborate on this. My interaction with millers was very limited during my Padyatra, but palm oil is a great example where I believe some structural changes can come. Import duty. If you look at it, when inflation goes up, we reduce import duties, so we can cut inflation or control inflation. But then typically policy is good one cycle late. So we're giving the wrong medicine. And that's what I noticed. So just creating a transparent table. And based on that, it becomes very seamless for Indian officials to administer the policy. So these are interventions that we would love to work. So similarly with rice, we would love to work with you on this.
Thank you. We have Mr. Rabindra Srikant he's the Vice Chairman of Karnataka CII State. He also runs a very large tech company that is a provider for auto component companies.
Yeah. So a pleasure to meet you. It's been a while after many years. Very nice to meet. So your Foxconn example in Sri City is definitely very successful. I'm more on the electronics and tech manufacturing. So any thoughts on Penugonda and North Bangalore, in that area where Foxconn is setting up a huge facility on the smartphone manufacturing? What are you planning there? And like you said, it's very inclusive. It's 80-90% women. And I think this is about maybe 1 or 2 lakh people can be employed in any of these locations. So just want to know what you're doing. And Tirupati also had some activity for some time. It's just quietened down now. Yes.
We are currently in an NDA period, so I won't be able to divulge details. We've signed NDAs with specific companies, and we are in the discussion phase, so I think it will be wrong for me to divulge any details. But saying that, what we have proposed, again, you'll hear this again and again from me, is ecosystem. So for the larger players of that particular sector, I said, create a city and not one, for lack of a better word, shed. Let's create the entire ecosystem end to end. And that's what we've been professing with them. North Bangalore is, the right of the airport, as I keep saying. I think that airport is perfect for Andhra more than it is for Bangalore. Connectivity is great. That's where Kia is, and that's where the entire mobility bit comes in. We want to double down on it. So the entire EV bit and all that, that's going to be the location. As far as electronics manufacturing is concerned, already an ecosystem exists in Tirupati. And as you said, sort of went quiet for the last 5 years, but now the energy is back. And I've been meeting all the industries that have already invested there, and we're resolving their issues. But then we want to now accelerate from there on, because thanks to Amar Raja, manufacturing culture exists. And in that particular sector, it actually exists. So we can double down on it. And that's now going to extend up to Koparthi, where Government of India also has given grants to develop that industrial node. And that's going to be our focus area now as a state. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Mr. Abul Razak. He heads the largest footwear brand, VKC. Would like to interact with you.
I think I'm very happy to hear your thoughts on Andhra Pradesh. Actually, I'm also an investor in Andhra Pradesh, and we have a unit in Vijayawada. So, and I think, as Mr. Vinod said, the government CII Consultative Committee, I'm also a member of that. It will be a great forum for taking things forward, because you know that rulers have changed, but the officers still remains the same. So we need to have a constant push on them to have a decision to be implemented faster and down the line. So that's from my side, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now we are over to our state leadership. I kept them for the last because the others had flights to catch, so I just made them interact first. So we have Dr. Murli. Okay. Vice Chair of the state, and I think your drones were used very extensively for the rehabilitation process during the floods. Over to you, Murli.
I mean, let me clarify, the drones are not mine, but the vision was the Honorable CMs. Yeah. And again, like it always is said, I mean, your capabilities are tested at the most toughest times. And once again, I think we have seen how they could handle the disaster, the flood. So I think CMs Vision is something which is very inspiring, as always. Honorable Minister, taking cues from what you said earlier, in terms of bringing the subject matter knowledge of the industry, see how we can increase the employability and KG to PG, how the whole curriculum can be restructured and revamped. So I think the industry-academia collaboration is very important. And the AI vision that you shared, perhaps this can be leveraged, the industry knowledge can be leveraged to build some innovative use cases in this whole framework. I don't know how this works, but then if you could conceptualize a framework wherein the industry and academia can come together to build some great innovative solutions and use the local ecosystem. It could be your industrial clusters, or it could be some of the smart cities or Amravati, where some of this can be tried and tested out. And then once you have a success, this can be replicated or emulated in other states or even to global markets. So I think there's a whole great role, because you are the Minister for IT as well as for the HR. So there's a very good symbiotic relationship there, and the innovation and R&D is something I think needs a great fillip to move to the value up in the value chain, and especially focusing on product development beyond the regular services approach. Thank you.
To add on, I'll finish from the state. So one opportunity what we were discussing is that recently Government of India announced two large shipbuilding units and business, one in the East Coast and one in the West Coast. Probably we have the best opportunity because we have the last long coast, and because of the location of ISRO is in Andhra Pradesh, so a lot of scope for the space tourism, because Telangana and Karnataka are doing very well in that particular area. Probably we should get some leverage in that area also. Second thing is, I think aerospace and shipbuilding, the two issues, and one joint consultative forum. These are and I have already shared the dates to you in the WhatsApp.
I'm not carrying my phone.
No problem. I'll share it officially.
Share it. We'll announce it now. Why waste time?
Three next dates, convenient days of yours. So basically.
So the dates being proposed is the first week of October, the second week of November, and the last week of Feb to start off. So if we are in alignment, we can go ahead.
Yes, sir.
So it's as good as announced.
Yeah, we will take the model from Kerala, the
Kerala,
kind
yes.
of model,
And,
and we'll circulate.
and I'll get the GO out in 1 week.
Yeah.
In 1 week, the GO will be out. I'll circulate it internally and I'll get it out.
And you can make that EDB in charge of the contact.
Yes, I'll have him be the
Yeah, please.
nodal agency.
Prashant, sure.
But I'll discuss it with the Honorable Chief Minister on who should chair it.
Sure.
So I think I would like to take his opinion
Thank you.
on who should be the chair, because I think he would like a bit of push from the ministers also. So I need to discuss it with him to ensure that there's continuity. So I'll talk to him. Just that's one thing that I think I wanted to consult with him. But rest assured, 1 week from today, the GO will be out. That's my responsibility.
We'll following. Thank you.
Minister, we have two more persons who would like to interact, and then we'll close after that, please. We have Shivakumar, Mr. Shivakumar Gunturu, who needs no introduction, but of course he was the past chair of Andhra Pradesh and also runs a very large software company from Vizag.
Thank you. Lokesh, thank you so much for joining us. This is a question I had earlier too, and I just want to bring it up again. The current businesses that we are running also need help, with the government in terms of resolving some issues. So I don't know which one of these forums that you have created, that is ease of doing business, speed of doing business, and ease of business continuity, and joint consultative forum that you are likely to form. So which one of these forums will take up this particular thing where we need a single window system to solve the existing industry issues?
Yes.
So would request you to kindly take that up. And you did mention this last time that you're going to take it up. Yes, I mean, that's about a month ago. So I'm sure, once the policies are in place, you're going to address this. So would want you to, take it on a priority basis. Thank you.
Specifically with regards to IT, we had a session in Vizag. That's where we said that as of now, the IT secretary will take it up, and the file is already under circulation. So we'll take care of that bit. But what's going to happen is EDB will be the single port of call for day-to-day issues, because there we're creating a regional focus team. So they'll focus on Vizag, all the MSMEs, all the large-scale companies, to understand what the current issues are, where is it pending. So we're creating an entire tracker, and all that is going to come into place. So it'll take about 45 days, but in the meantime, I'll continue to follow that up. But they become, subsequently after 45 days, we'll notify it, they'll become the port to call. And we're very transparent and young team and professional team will be in place.
Sure. My intent is not just for IT, it is across the industry.
Across the industry, EDB will be the single port of call, while the consultative committee will be more on the policies and frameworks and anything else beyond EDB, which I think will be limited, but beyond EDB, we will sit and we'll close those issues.
Thanks for your
So in
consideration.
terms of even policy creation, taking feedback from industry like poultry, Suresh Garu gave a lot of input, the opportunity. So we actually have experts now in EDB focusing on specific sectors. So they'll come, they'll sit, they'll create the policy, and EDB will initiate the file. Someone has to lead it. So they'll be the champion of the file, and then follow it up with the respective ministers.
Okay.
In terms of incentive, energy, capital, interest subvention, so on and so forth, and get it out in a stipulated time frame. So that's something that we'll do under EDB.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lastly, we have Mr. Srinivasa Raju. He's the Managing Director of Geomarine Dynamics. And Minister, he also heads the Society of Indian Defence Manufacturers at CII National.
Thank you, Madam. So really inspired with your presence and quality time. Now there is a lot of opportunities for uncharted sectors.
Yes.
So many sectors are emerging where there is a lot of potential for our geographical location of Andhra Pradesh. For example, if you take southern region, lot of thinkers are there. Yeah. Apart from the consultative forum, if you can put them into 100 days, taking inputs from their thought process, it will emerge into new areas of setting standards and getting into those sectors. Without any new concept, no state can give competition to the existing states. For example, defense manufacturers are looking for defense industrial complexes related to naval technologies and deep ocean and science and technology and earth sciences. AP is the best place to give that kind of facilities. Funds are allotted by central government so that those funds will come to the state and we can start those activities. So this kind of forum, because after getting into southern region, I found a lot of deep thinkers and the people of action. At least for 100 days, if you can take their inputs continuously, because nobody will come forward and give it like that. Once we start, we'll get consolidated output out of that. Then through consultative forum, we can convert that into the action. Thank you.
Shipbuilding project recently by the central government, so one in the east coast and one in the west. So
That's my action item. I've taken that up as my action item and I'll deliver on that. No, as far as like new areas, I think that's what I've been talking about. Y2K, Hyderabad was the beneficiary. The AI revolution, I think Andhra can be the beneficiary. Drones is another big area. And touchwood, we have a civil aviation minister coming from Andhra Pradesh. So specific policies, line of sight, drones that can transport humans in short distances. A lot of work is happening in the space. So we're really excited to play a major role as a state in those sectors. And defense, Visakhapatnam already has a very important role to play strategically for the nation. And I think we need to double down on it. So we'll figure out, I think we'll first get the consultative, the meeting, consultative forum, get the geo out first. And then if required, then subsequently we can create, we can work with EDB and the leadership that we're building there to then work with the industry, titans of the industry, to create specific policies or focus areas, or even go chase collaborations across the world for all of you. We can do that work. And I think we'll do it in EDB. So it's quicker, it's more seamless, and because it's going to be led by people from the industry. So they'll understand the language that we're saying.
For example, to take one sector, India is aiming for 2047, 30 trillion, 40 trillion, whatever it may be. It is a wealth creation. Always wealth creates threats also. We have to protect our country. NSA is planning for underwater domain awareness. That is very big project. You have to stop threats away from the waters. That threat program, what we do with the underwater domain awareness, it can be applied for disaster management, climate change, so many applications. Even you can extract rare earths from the seabed, like thorium, uranium and all. We are depending on China. If you can take out, we'll be the first state going in that direction. Example only I'm telling. Thank you.
So, can we conclude? You want to sum up or shall I just conclude?
You can conclude and I'll just add 2-3 points.
No, you please go ahead.
I'd like to thank all of you for taking time out and sharing your feedback. It means a lot for us personally. I think it gives us focus on areas that we can improve and learn from, of course, other states and, of course, different parts of the world, as suggested. As I said, the consultative forum is something that we're going to do, and mark the date and time. It will be out in a week, and that's something that we guarantee. And the dates have already been announced, and we will follow that up internally. Saying that, as I said, EDB will be the port to call, and as Suchitra Garu has said, in the past also we have done partnership summits in conjunction with CII, and we look forward to doing it for the next 4 years before the election cycle is up again, to really attract investments real time. Women in place, women entrepreneurship is a great focus area for Mr. Naidu, and it's very close to his heart. This is something that I look forward to working with IWN on taking it forward, and we will reach out to you parallelly. And I think that's a lesson for me, is that in EDB, I think we need to specifically focus on women empowerment as a thrust area. So that's something that I'll take it to the CEO also there. Point taken on the shipbuilding. I think, sir, is a very valid point. I take that as an actionable item for me. And Shivagara state feedback on, getting things moving, action items getting moving. Rest assured, give us about 45 days, because all of us, we were stuck for good 12 days, 15 days in the flood crisis that we had in Vijayawada. So everyone was really handling that relief and rehabilitation program. So that's going to be, now that we've finished one chapter, the next phase we will take forward, and we will deliver on what I've stated. And the last point, sir, defense, as I said, North Andhra is going to be our focus area. In my opening remarks, I did say that. And we'll create this theme in like industry-specific consultative mechanism within EDB. And they'll come to whichever city that's required and where the focus is, and have a meeting there and create policies based on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. So we've really had the pleasure and privilege of having you with us, and you've spent a lot of time with us explaining about the way forward for this great state, and we are all with you and we will support you. At the end, I would just like to ask you one thing. To enable all that we've discussed, we'd like better connectivity to Vijayawada. And we have your own civil aviation minister, and we'd like you to also take it up with the airlines. And recently they were all in Coimbatore, Minister. I'm from Coimbatore, so. And we've had some very good flight connectivities happening now in Coimbatore. And of course, with the airport expansion also happening, we are looking at very good connectivity. So connectivity is the key to everything, I think, and it starts from there. So thank you very much for being with us, and we will take all these points forward. And the consultative forum, I'm sure, will bring a lot of synergies. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have another 15 minutes going for the meeting. Huh? November. I'm coming. I love your. How can I sit? Play the video. Play the video.
Since the last council meeting, the CII Southern Region has made notable progress in enhancing engagement and expanding its membership, thanks to the numerous activities organized across
ఈరోజు సిఐ సదర్న్ చాప్టర్ మీటింగ్ విజయవాడలో పెట్టుకుంటాం జరిగింది. ప్రధానంగా గత 5 సంవత్సరాలు వాళ్ళు ఎదుర్కొన్న ఇబ్బందులు ఏంటి, అదేవిధంగా రాబోయే 5 సంవత్సరాలు వాళ్ళు ప్రభుత్వం నుంచి ఏం ఆశిస్తున్నారో చర్చించడానికి ఒక ఓపెన్ ప్లాట్ఫామ్ ఏర్పాటు చేసుకుంటాం జరిగింది. దాంట్లో స్పష్టంగా 2-3 నిర్ణయాలు ఈరోజు తీసుకున్నాం. ఒకటి, ఒక కన్సల్టేటివ్ ఫారం ఏర్పాటు చేయాలని, ఎక్కడైతే ఇండస్ట్రీ డైరెక్ట్గా గవర్నమెంట్తో చర్చలు నిర్వహించడానికి, చిన్న ఇష్యూస్ ఏమైనా ఉంటే యుద్ధ ప్రాతిపదికంగా పరిష్కరించడానికి ఒక కన్సల్టేటివ్ ఫారం ఏర్పాటు చేయాలని నిర్ణయం తీసుకున్నాం. అది ఒక 1 రోజుల్లో జియో రూపంలో ఇష్యూ చేస్తానని వాళ్ళకి హామీ ఇస్తాం కూడా జరిగింది. ఇంతేకాకుండా సిఐతో కూడా నేను చర్చించాను. ప్రభుత్వాలు మారచ్చు కానీ గవర్నెన్స్ అనేది శాశ్వతంగా ఉండాలి. అంటే ఒక ప్రభుత్వం తీసుకున్న పాలసీ నిర్ణయాలు, ఒప్పందాలు అవన్నీ వేరే ప్రభుత్వం, అంటే గతంలో జరిగింది అది ప్రధానంగా పవర్ సెక్టర్ పీపీఏలు గతంలో క్యాన్సిల్ చేశారు. దానివల్ల కేవలం రాష్ట్రమే కాదు భారతదేశమే నష్టపోయింది. మీరు ఒక్కసారి చూస్తే రెన్యూవబుల్ ఎనర్జీ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్స్ లో గతంలో ఇతర దేశాల నుంచి సావరెన్ ఫండ్స్ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్స్ చేశారు. ఒక్క ప్రభుత్వం తీసుకున్న నిర్ణయం వల్ల, ప్రధానంగా ఆంధ్ర ప్రభుత్వం, వైకాపా ప్రభుత్వం తీసుకున్న నిర్ణయం వల్ల భారతదేశానికి చెడ్డ పేరు వచ్చింది. అది జరగకూడదు, రాబోయే రోజులు ఎప్పుడు జరగకూడదు. దానికి ఒక కన్సల్టేటివ్ యూనిట్ క్రియేట్ చేద్దాం. మేము లీడ్ చేసేందుకు సిద్ధంగా ఉన్నాం. కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వంతో కూడా కలిసికట్టుగా చర్చించి అవసరమైతే ఒక చట్టం తీసుకొద్దాం కేంద్రం స్థాయిలో అని కూడా మేము మాట్లాడుకున్నాం. వాళ్ళకి నేను చాలా స్పష్టంగా చెప్పాను, ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ ఇస్ రెడీ టు డూ బిజినెస్. 20 లక్షల ఉద్యోగాల కల్పనే మా లక్ష్యం. దానికి కావాల్సిన ఇన్సెంటివ్స్, ఎకో సిస్టమ్, సబ్సిడీలు మేము అందిస్తానని హామీ ఇచ్చాను. వాళ్ళు కూడా అనుకూలంగా స్పందించారు. పెట్టుబడులు పెద్ద ఎత్తున ఆంధ్ర రాష్ట్రంలో పెట్టేదానికి సిద్ధంగా ఉన్నామని కూడా వాళ్ళు చెప్తాం జరిగింది. అంతేకాకుండా గతంలో ఎవరైతే ఆంధ్ర రాష్ట్రంలో పెట్టుబడులు పెట్టారో వాళ్ళకి రావాల్సిన ఇన్సెంటివ్స్ కానీ అన్నిటిపైన కూడా ఒక చర్చించి నెక్స్ట్ ఫేజ్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్స్ వాళ్ళ చేత పెట్టించేదానికి ఎకనామిక్ డెవలప్మెంట్ బోర్డులో ఒక ప్రత్యేక విభాగం కూడా ఏర్పాటు చేస్తామని వాళ్ళకి హామీ ఇచ్చాము. గతంలో అంటే తెలుగుదేశం పార్టీ అధికారులు ఉన్నప్పుడు ఎకనామిక్ డెవలప్మెంట్ బోర్డు అనేది ఉండేది. సింగిల్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ కాంటాక్ట్. పారిశ్రామికవేత్త ఆంధ్ర రాష్ట్రం పెట్టుబడి పెట్టాలన్నా, లేదంటే ఆంధ్ర రాష్ట్రం వెళ్ళి కలవాలనుకున్న ఈడీబీ నుంచి వెళ్ళేవారు. కానీ గత ప్రభుత్వం ఈడీబీని కూడా నిర్వీర్యం చేసి మూసేసిన ఈడీబీని మళ్ళీ తెరిచాం. గతంలో ఈడీబీలో పనిచేసిన వాళ్ళందరూ పక్క రాష్ట్రాలకు వెళ్ళిపోయారు. వాళ్ళందరూ ఇప్పుడు తిరిగి మళ్ళీ ఈడీబీలో పనిచేయడానికి సిద్ధంగా ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళు వస్తున్నారు. ఒక యంగ్ ఐఏఎస్ ఆఫీసర్ని కూడా ఈడీబీ సీఈఓగా నియమించడం జరిగింది. నిరుద్యోగ యువకులు ఒకటే హామీ ఇస్తున్నా, 20 లక్షల ఉద్యోగాల కల్పననే ఆంధ్ర రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వ లక్ష్యం. అది చేసి తీరుతాం, మీకు చూపిస్తాం. అమ్మా నేను అది ఆల్రెడీ నేను మాట్లాడాను. లెట్స్ ఓన్లీ స్టిక్ టు ఇండస్ట్రీ. నో ప్లీజ్, సబ్జెక్ట్ వి షుడ్ నాట్ డైవర్ట్. లెట్ us stick to industry. Well, one second. Continuity of policy framework is my first promise. 2, I've said Andhra is open to doing business. Economic Development Board will be their single port of call. We are going to create not only best-in-class incentives, but also speed of doing business. Because today, if you look at capital investments have increased. Earlier, it was in hundreds of crores. Now it's in thousands of crores. A 3-month delay, 6-month delay of a project throws their entire business model out of whack. So I said we promise we will deliver on the speed of doing business. So ease of doing business is of the past. Now it's all about speed. And we will not only compete, we will beat every state in India and even countries in terms of speed of doing business. And that's been my promise to the industry.
Sir, inflation చాలా ఎక్కువగా ఉంది, రేషన్ ఎఫెక్ట్ ఎక్కువగా ఉంటుందని చెప్తున్నారు. ఇలాంటి టైంలో కొత్త వాళ్ళకి మీరు ఎలాంటి ఇన్సూరెన్స్ ఇస్తారు పెట్టుబడి పెట్టడానికి?
పెట్టుబడులు పెట్టేదానికంటే ప్రధానంగా నేను వాళ్ళందరూ చెప్పేది, వాళ్ళ పరిశ్రమలో తీసుకున్న ఒక ఐటీ కంపెనీ కానీ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్ కంపెనీలో తీసుకున్నా కూడా పెద్ద ఎత్తున తెలుగు ఉన్నారు ఆల్రెడీ. సో వాళ్ళందరూ ఇప్పుడు ఆంధ్ర రాష్ట్రం కొట్టి పెట్టుబడి పెట్టాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. ఎందుకంటే తెలుగులో ఇక్కడనే ఉద్యోగాలు ఉపాధి చేయాలన్న కోరిక వాళ్ళకు ఉంది. సో వాళ్ళందరితో అదే చర్చించాను. భూములు వేరే ప్రభుత్వాలు ఇచ్చినట్టు తక్కువ ధరతో భూములు ఇస్తాం, కరెంట్ ఇస్తాం, ఒకే కండిషన్ పెడితే ఎన్ని ఉద్యోగాలు కల్పిస్తున్నారు. నేను గతంలో ఒకటి ఇండస్ట్రీ కలిసి కూడా ఒకటి వైట్ పేపర్ ఇస్తా, నేను వైట్ పేపర్ ఇస్తా, మీకు ఇన్సెంటివ్స్ ఏం కావాలో మీరు చెప్పండి, కింద నేను ఎంతమందికి ఉద్యోగాలు కల్పించాలని నేను రాస్తానని చెప్పాను. ఒకరు వచ్చి పెట్టుబడులు ఆంధ్ర రాష్ట్రంలో పెడుతున్నారంటే ప్రధానంగా లోకల్స్కి ఉద్యోగాలు ఉపాధి కల్పించడానికి. గతంలో మేము ఫాక్స్కాన్ తీసుకొస్తే దాదాపు 15,000 మంది మహిళలు పనిచేశారమ్మా. దాంట్లో ఈస్ట్ గోదావరి నుంచి అనంతపూర్ వరకు మహిళలందరూ అక్కడికి వెళ్ళి అక్కడ డార్మెటరీలో ఉండి అక్కడ పనిచేసేవారు. సో వాళ్ళందరూ ఇండస్ట్రీ కూడా కోరుకునే లోకల్స్గా ఉద్యోగాలు ఉపాధి కల్పించడానికి. సో దాంట్లో ఎలాంటి సందేహం లేదు.
Sir, inside you had promised something related to national policy, building national policy with respect to Andhra Pradesh. What was that?
No, what has happened is in the past, Andhra Pradesh has had a very bad precedence of when regimes have changed. The etched in stone policies or agreements were reneged, and one of that was the power purchase agreements. See, power purchase agreements have a lot of backing, and renewable energy is highly capital intensive. So you have a lot of sovereign funds investing in it, and very large funds. And one fund is SoftBank that invested in these renewable energy projects. Because of one chief minister's decision, not only Andhra Pradesh but as a nation, we got a bad repute. So literally, SoftBank leadership called the honorable Prime Minister about it, and I think it's disrepute for not only for the state but for the nation. So what I offered to CII is, as a state, we are willing to lead the consultative forum, the discussion, to have a larger discussion at the national level to create a law if required, to ensure that once a government signs an MOU or a power purchase agreement, subsequent governments cannot come and randomly overturn that decisions, and that's going to be very, very important for India and protecting India's reputation. And that's a promise, and that's the offer I've given to the industry.
ETD విజిలెన్స్ నివేదిక ఆపాలని చెప్పి వైవి సుబ్బారెడ్డి కోర్టుకు వెళ్ళారు.
నిన్న
కంటిన్యూస్ ఇలాంటి వివాదాలన్నీ ఏపీ బ్రాండ్ ఇమేజ్ దెబ్బతీయమంటారు.
వాస్తవాలు ప్రజల ముందర పెట్టాలి. గత ప్రభుత్వం లాగా మేము సీక్రెట్ జియోలు ఎక్కడ ఇష్యూ చేయట్లేదు. వాట్ ఈజ్ వేర్ ఈజ్ బేసిస్ లో ప్రజల ముందర పెడుతున్నాం, మేము పెడతాం. ఎందుకంటే మా పైన కూడా బాధ్యత ఉంది. గత ప్రభుత్వాలాగా హౌస్ అరెస్టులు చేస్తాం, గేట్లకి తాడు కడతాం, అలాంటి ప్రభుత్వం మాది కాదు. పరదాలు కట్టుకుని తిరిగే ముఖ్యమంత్రి తెలుగుదేశం ముఖ్యమంత్రి కానే కాదు, చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారు కానే కాదు. నిన్న కూడా మీరు సభ చూస్తే చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారు ప్రజల్లో కలిసి కూర్చుని మాట్లాడారు. ఒక్క బ్యారికేడ్ లేదు అక్కడ. అది మా ప్రభుత్వానికి ఉన్న చిత్తశుద్ధి. సో అన్ని వాస్తవం మేము ముందలు పెడతాం. ఎందుకు వాళ్ళు భయపడుతున్నారండి? ఏం తప్పు చేయలేకపోతే ఛాలెంజ్ చేశారు కదా రమ్మని. తిరుపతికి వచ్చి ప్రతిజ్ఞ చేయమని చెప్పారు కదా. నేను తిరుపతిలో ఉన్న 24 గంటలు నేను ఛాలెంజ్ చేశారు రమ్మని. ఎందుకు రాలేదు? వాస్తవాలు చెప్పాల్సిన బాధ్యత మా పైన ఉంది. ప్రజలకు మేము ఆ వాస్తవాలు వివరించాం. సాక్షి లేడా అంటే వాళ్ళకి ఇండస్ట్రీ అంటే ఏంటో తెలియదు కదమ్మా. ఓకే, దాచుకో తప్ప ఇంకేం తెలియదు అనుకుంటా వాళ్ళకి. అందుకని ఓకే మాడాలి కదా ఇప్పుడు. అట్లా చాలా కంపెనీలు పోయినాయి కదమ్మా. వన్ బై వన్ తీసుకురావాలి. థ్యాంక్ యూ అమ్మా. అంటానమ్మా. ఐల్ టేక్ లీవ్. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. జై హింద్ ఉంటాను.
shall we begin? I'll just do some the introduction, then you'll be speaking, then we'll open the floor for interactions with you. Yes. So it's both an honor and a privilege for the Confederation of Indian Industry Southern Region to welcome Shri Nara Lokesh Garu, the Honorable Minister for IT, Electronics and Communication, Human Resource Development and Right to Governance, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Thank you, Shri Lokesh Garu, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today. While I believe most members are already familiar with your impressive background, I would like to acknowledge the deep-rooted connection your government has with CII. Your father, Honorable Chief Minister's contributions over the past 2 decades have fostered a special bond with our institution, and we are pleased to see you continuing in this esteemed tradition. Your previous collaboration with CII on select projects is a testament to your commitment to the development of Andhra Pradesh. We are eager to work closely with you, especially after hearing about the initiatives your government has undertaken in the last few months. And I am confident that the coming years will be prosperous for your state, and CII is committed to supporting your vision of making Andhra Pradesh the industrial engine of the South. The CII Southern Region Council represents the leadership of all the 5 southern states of India and the Union Territory of Puducherry. Our council includes industry leaders from key companies in South India who actively engage with CII on various initiatives and sectoral development projects. We are the largest region in terms of membership, Honorable Minister, and we have a huge presence across the country, and we conduct bi-monthly meetings across all the 6 states in the southern region. In Andhra Pradesh, we currently operate offices in Vijayawada and Visakhapatnam, and we are looking at plans to extend our office to Tirupati soon. See, our collaboration with your government has allowed us to engage deeply in policy advocacy, attract investments to Andhra Pradesh, and we continue to contribute to the societal development. Recently, CII members in Andhra Pradesh and southern India pledged over rupees 15 crores to support flood relief efforts in Vijayawada and other affected areas of the state. Honorable Minister, please know that CII is always here to support the government of Andhra Pradesh. My colleagues and I are eager to hear your insights on your vision for Andhra Pradesh in 2047. This topic is particularly relevant as you will witness the evolution of the state as India celebrates its centenary. We look forward to your thoughts and ideas, and over to you, Honorable Minister.
Good morning, everyone. It's my privilege to be part of the 4th meeting of the CII Southern Regional Council meeting being held here in Vijayawada. It's great to see the Southern Regional Council representing the vibrant and diverse industries of southern states. It's also inspiring to witness close to 70 CEOs now coming and industry titans here, a lot of whom I call my own friends, and in the last 5 years who I've always bounced ideas off on areas that as a state we can improve. As a state of Andhra Pradesh, you witnessed change. 93% of the seats contested have been won by NDA, so it's been a clear mandate to create jobs. In our promises of 6 promises that we have made, one of the primary promises is to create 20 lakh jobs in 5 years. So that is the single agenda with which your government is actually going to work here in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh is one of the fastest growing states, and our aspiration is to be among the first 3 states to reach the $1 trillion economy mark. As a state, we've always been collaborative. CII has always played a very important role in the erstwhile combined state of Andhra Pradesh with Mr. Naidu ji, and now after the bifurcated state also. Of course, CII's relationship with Mr. Naidu goes back to the mid-90s, where we were promoting India and not states in specific. And I think together we have achieved a lot. You know, our state has been a hub for agriculture, for MSMEs, for manufacturing, even pharmaceutical, and now we want to move faster in IT. In line with the Honorable Prime Minister's vision, Vikasit Bharat, Andhra Pradesh is also creating Vikasit Andhra Pradesh project. This will be soon launched to the people of Andhra Pradesh for their feedback on this, and we are committed to it and we will take it forward. I would also like to reiterate and build trust back. I understand the last 5 years wasn't exactly a very pleasant 5 years for the industry. I am aware of it. In the last 5 years, I did speak to quite a few of you. I've understood your pain areas, and we are here to win the trust back. You know, Mr. Naidu is in his 4th term as Chief Minister, and he's been telling us that this is going to be like his first term. So you understand, when a person becomes Chief Minister multiple times, you would imagine that for them it becomes now a routine. But Mr. Naidu brings in renewed energy to his 4th term as Chief Minister. His previous term was all about ease of doing business. Now it's about speed of doing business. So because investments have increased, you know, investing in hundreds of crores was a big deal. Now everything has become thousands of crores. So a project getting delayed by 3 months, 6 months derails your entire business plan, and we as state understand it. So we have been talking about speed of doing business, and that's what we will stand for. And we are going to compete with other states to deliver on this. As far as my particular departments go, I handle human resource development, skill development, IT electronics, and real-time governance. So we are doing a skill census now. The project got delayed because of the floods, recent floods. All of us we had to handle that. But we're going to bring that project back on track. We will have a workforce certified ready for you. And we are also working with the industry already in Andhra Pradesh to register onto the platform to make it a seamless and a very transparent way of hiring people. Saying that, AI is of course going to change the way we're going to do business, politics, or even governance. AI University is something that's very close to our Honorable Chief Minister's heart, and as the HRD Minister, I will deliver on this. This is designed keeping in mind the erstwhile ISB model. So we expect titans of industry to support us in this journey and actually run the institution. So government is good at policy making, giving land, and that's where we want to end our role and let industry run the curriculum, the direction, like how you've done amazingly well with ISB. As a state HRD minister, I'm looking at transforming our entire curriculum from KG to PG. It's very important to educate our children at a very young age, and if you launch them in the right direction, then the sky is the limit. So we are very conscious of that, and that's exactly what I am going to do. As far as IT electronics, yes, Andhra Pradesh has missed the Y2K advantage because we were a combined state, and back then Hyderabad was the singular focus. As far as IT investments, the data center investments, AI investments, our focus area is going to be Visakhapatnam. No second thoughts about it. And we will not miss this bus. So next 6 months, you will hear a lot of announcements coming about as far as data centers and the entire AI, harnessing the data center energy through AI. Saying that, you know, Andhra Pradesh is a very peculiarly long state. It lends itself well for a very thematic ecosystem-based development. And if you look at successful models across the world, they've succeeded because of the ecosystem, and we understand that very well. So if you look at mobility, Anantapur is a focus, renewable energy, Kurnool is a focus, electronics manufacturing is between Chittoor and Kadapa districts both together, sports infrastructure is also going to come there, Prakasam, the entire biofuel, is going to be a big thrust area for us. Where we are sitting, which is the Capital Region Development Authority, Guntur Krishna is going to be about capital. East-West Godavari, all of you know, is exceptionally doing well in aqua. We are very cognizant that we need to make it sustainable aqua. So I've been talking to titans of industry of that sector to look at what are the investments as a state we need to do. So it could be the drainage, it could be the road infrastructure, the cold chain infrastructure. That's something we're talking to them. North Andhra is going to be our pharma, our IT destination. So we have a very clear roadmap, and this is what we're going to focus in terms of chasing investments. Saying that, in the last 5 years, I understand that you've had some challenges. I've already been talking to all the leaders. Specifically, they're related to incentives. Back then, you had power holidays. You had issues with regard to water. We totally understand that. I would like to make one thing clear. Andhra is open for business. Back then, we had Economic Development Board that led the entire outreach. We have revived it. A young IS officer has been nominated now to lead the initiative from the front. We've lost really good youngsters to other states. They're all now coming back to be part of Economic Development Board. And Economic Development Board, while it will chase new investments, we are also creating a team which will focus on already industries that exist in Andhra Pradesh. So reaching out to all of you, understanding your pain areas, and how do we overcome those pain areas, and how as a government we can deliver on our promises. And as I said, our single agenda is to create 20 lakh jobs in 5 years. So we will do whatever is possible to deliver on that single promise. And this is part of our manifesto, and it's the first promise out of the 6 promises that we have made to the people of Andhra Pradesh. Mr. Naidu does not require any introduction. All of you understand. Mr. Naidu's governance does not require any introduction. All of you know it very well. But one thing I'd like to add, out of the 164 MLAs that won on NDA plank, out of 175, 88 of them are first-time MLAs. In the entire cabinet, 17 are first-time ministers. So it's funny that I'm actually a senior minister, though I'm very young. I'm only 41, but I'm actually a senior minister now in Mr. Naidu's cabinet. So the Honorable Chief Minister brings about that kind of fresh thoughts, fresh energy, renewed energy to drive Andhra Pradesh forward and in the right direction. We will compete with other states, no second thought. Incentives is one bit, but we will compete on the speed of doing business. So give us another 30 days. Economic Development Board will be in place. It will be the single port of call for all of you. And we will be sitting in front of your office, whether you like it or not. We will be knocking on all your doors, and we will not stop knocking till you commit investments to the state of Andhra Pradesh. Subtle pestering is, I think, the right word we're going to use. But we mean business, and Andhra Pradesh is open now. So I'd like to thank the CII for giving me this opportunity to be part of this meeting. I know that the Chief Secretary also spoke and gave a broader vision about the state. And all of us are very clear, and all of us are working with a single agenda of creating jobs. And I think that's going to be very, very important, not only for Andhra Pradesh, but for us as a nation. If we don't handle this demographic dividend well, there are going to be serious repercussions socially. So all of us understand this very well, and we're very, very conscious of it. And as a state, we want to lead it from the front. As Mr. Naidu always does it, this time also we want to lead it from the front. And soon you will see a lot of announcements of using AI in governance. So anything that you want, any information that you want, any interaction with government, apart from EDB, would be a platform-based initiative. So it could be WhatsApp, it could be Telegram, iMessages, or even a government bot. Everything is going to be transparent. So we're going to power it with AI, and I'm particularly excited about that project, and we're going to deliver on that also soon. So I'd like to thank the CII for having me. And I'm normally told that I do much better with dialogue than monologue, so I would like to open up this, with your permission, open up this discussion and answer any questions that all of you might have. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. We truly appreciate the manifesto of the 20 lakh jobs, because I think that is most crucial to keep our youth engaged in the proper manner that they need to be engaged. Otherwise, we'll have a huge social issue. Your KG to PG curriculum change, we would like to we're really keen and interested to know how the curriculum change is going to happen, and if we can take it back to the other states in the southern region, that will be really nice. And you're always welcome to knock on all our doors. We are here to support you at CII. And also truly appreciate your focus on sustainability. I see that you have very small papers for your speech, and it's also cut into small pieces. Thank you so much for that, because all of us have to be environmentally conscious to take our world forward for the next generation of youth. So having said that, I'd like to first go with Mr. Thomas John Muthoot, who would like to ask you a few things.
One concern area, Andhra predominantly was into agriculture, and there's a lot of the drive of economy was agri-based industries and agri. Now with the shift focus on other areas, how are you ensuring that agri still becomes the driver for economy? Because agri is also as important as all what you have just mentioned, and people shifting out of agri, will the agri get affected at some point of time? Again, the grassroots gets affected. Honorable CM, when he spoke to the National Council, he said that he lost 2 elections because of his thrust on growth, and at some point of time not taking feedbacks of the bottom. So how are you going to address this time?
Very valid question. If you look at it in the 5 years between 14 and 19, agri was a great thrust area, and agri-allied grew at the fastest pace, predominantly driven even by aqua. Saying that, I actually did a Padyatra before the election, and I spent considerable time in Rayalaseema region. And as all of you know, Rayalaseema is known for mangoes. We are only second to UP. One of the stand that I've taken is we are growing our local variants, which is great. It adds a lot of value, but we should also grow variants that the world requires. So it could be the Japanese varietals, what Europe wants. So we have a clear mission in place. We have picked specific commodities that we want to specialize in, agri commodities that as a state we want to specialize in. This is part of the Vikasit Andhra Pradesh vision. We're going to back it with research centers. So like a great example of that is mango, dragon fruit, chiku, a banana. Andhra is already very big. We can do a lot more. And with the industry support, of course. Saying that there are also like dates is a big opportunity for us in the Rayalaseema region. So we're looking at specific commodities, going deep, backed with research, giving clear inputs to the farmer and building that out.
Bringing some digital into agri also.
That's the next bit. So that's what brings me to the next bit, which is how do you make agriculture even sustainable? So Mr. Naidu has pioneered the zero budget natural farming. So there are 2 sides of the equation. One is you have to reduce the cost of inputs so that I can be competitive and sustainable. So that's something that we're also working. And then, of course, technology will play a role, not just from predicting market prices, but also understanding the possibility of any pest and how do I control. We've done this in the past under real-time governance. So we're bringing all that back, all the protocols back to that. With regards to feedback from the grassroots, I think we've always lost an election because of that, not because we didn't do work. And that's why our real-time governance is now being given to me. And in this government, in the real-time governance, one of the major things is also feedback. So we're going to take feedback from industry, feedback from citizens, feedback as a family, and look at things very holistically. So education, healthcare, and we have this model called the P4 model where, we want successful entrepreneurs to actually nurture families, nurture villages. And how do you pull people out of the cycle of poverty? Government is a very good spender of public money. But then we need accountability to come in at a greater pace. And that's where I look forward to working with the industry in bringing that and hand-holding. And that's something that we intend to do.
CM, when he addressed the National Council, spoke about the 4 Ps also involving people. So I think that's
the 4P model.
We have been also propagating to our government saying involve people now.
Well, if you look at it this time when we have the Chief Minister's travels, it's very open, very easy. His program is also very accessible, no barricades. So I think it's been a huge cultural shift compared to the last 5 years. But we are marching ahead in that, hopefully in the right direction.
All the best.
Thank you. So next I'd like to request Mr. Anil Epur to.
I mean, having worked with the Honorable Chief Minister for many, many years, in the late 90s and early 2000s. I know you'll be very successful in what you're planning to do, and I'm glad to hear from what you have mentioned. But just a couple of just thoughts. One on, don't look at only India as for the models and all this. Please look at the world as to where are the successful models working there. I just mentioned to the Chief Secretary about the skilling thing there, how the German, Swiss, Austrian model of skilling is the right model for India. That is one. Second one, when you're talking about in agriculture and please look at the emerging trends. We're talking about mangoes and all this. This is the past. What are the new fruits that come? You talked about dragon fruit. That is a fruit. But there are a lot of things coming up like that. Yeah. So if somebody can go and see the supermarkets in the West, and you know what are the fruits coming there. And Ralsima is the ideal horticultural place. Exactly. The dry weather makes perfect sweet fruit. So that could be the great. Same thing with aquaculture. We are not adding value to aquaculture. We are only giving the raw material out of the ponds. There's a huge scope to add value, especially accelerated freeze drying, etc., which can increase the returns to the farmers dramatically. So if you can look at what's happening in the world, and I mean, we took the Honorable Chief Minister on delegations to the US, UK, Malaysia, Singapore, and all this. And everywhere he went there, the people there were stunned by the questions he used to ask about what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it. I'm sure he'll do that, but I think it's time for you people to start going abroad, especially to these leading countries, to understand what they're doing, why they have gone there, and where can Andhra benefit from those trips. I just commend it to you and wish you all the very best.
If you can just quickly answer that. If you look at it, mango is still mango. And the advantage is now you looked at Japanese varietals. So my question is, why can't we grow those? So I think I'm looking at it end to end. And I was very infatuated with the idea that we can actually grow for the world. And this is something that I've been talking about in my entire Padayatra, because I interacted with a lot of farmers. Dates might seem trivial, but the opportunity is amazing. So as you rightly said, it's not just about supplying for India, but can I become a global supplier, in the top 10, major commodities. But commodity as a commodity, like mango is a mango. But then can I do local processing? And I've looked at how Thailand has done that better. Creating chocolates in a very micro scale. The mango toffees of some, not chocolates, or toffees. It's very easy. So we are actually looking at that. And we would love to actually engage with the industry on this. Because you have a better view